So the third hormone is the growth hormone releasing hormone, which is a peptide of 44 amino acids, um, also known as somatochrinin. And the GHRH stimulates cells in the anterior lobe of pituitary, that is the anterior pituitary, to secrete growth hormone. Right. So the receptor is the GRH receptor. It is a G protein coupled receptor that activates the cyclic AMP signaling pathway through the PKA. Okay. So it's found in the membrane of liver cells, and there are small synthetic molecules that act as GH secretagogues, like the GHs uh, already produced, synthesized, and stored in secreting vesicles called secretagogues. And when there is a stimulation for release, the secretagogues are released. And this activates the IPCA pathway instead of the cyclic AMP pathway. So we'll see what is the IPCA pathway. So regarding processing and degradation, the pre-pro GHRH is a 108 amino acid long peptide, which consists of a typical signal peptide and a 44 amino acid GHRH region and a 31 amino acid C-terminal peptide. So the which has to be removed. The pre and the pro portions have to be removed for the active hormone. And degradation GHRH can be inactivated by peptidases, and you have the N-terminal peptide tyrosine alanine removed and cleaved at positions 2 and 3 to make inactive fragment 3 to 44 amino group. And GHRH receptor is a 7 transmembrane G protein coupled receptor that is 423 amino acids in length. So this is, you can see over here that you have the pre-pro GHRH over here, and the signal peptide is cleaved in this position. So you have the pro GHRH, and then endopeptidases and carboxypeptidases act on pro GHRH, and you get the GHRH 1 to 45 amino acids, and G C terminal peptide is removed. All right. So this can then be further degraded by peptidases. So degradation of GRRH can be activated by peptidases at the N-terminal peptide region, like we've already talked about this. So this is the portion. See, this is a neuron which produces growth hormone, and this is a somatostatin neuron, and the neuron releases GHRH due to the stimulation like stress, exercise, starvation, acute hypoglycemia, and aging. So the GHRH which is released goes and binds to the GHRH receptor, which activates the protein kinase A pathway, and the protein kinase A pathway leads to GH growth hormone synthesis and secretion. So the GH is secreted out of the cell, and the GH can be converted to, or gets bound to, uh, the growth hormone binding protein, or it can bind to the growth hormone receptor on different cells. Examples here is the adipose tissue, muscle tissues, hepatocytes also. So in the adipose tissue, it increases lipolysis, decreases glucose uptake. In the muscle tissue, it increases protein synthesis, decreases glucose uptake. And in the hepatocyte or the liver cell, it increases the production of IGF-1, IGF binding protein, and ALS protein, and it also activates the gluconeogenic enzymes. Okay, so this is the action of growth hormone. The growth hormone can also cause a feedback inhibition of its own, like of the GHRH neuron in the hypothalamus. Right? This is for somatostatin. We are just coming into that. So the somatostatin neuron releases somatostatin, binds to its receptor, inhibits the PKA pathway, As a result, the GH is less not secreted, and this is a function of that. And you have the insulin-like growth factor IGF, and the IGF that is synthesized over here can bind to growth factor binding protein and the ALS complex, and the IGF-1 can also bind to the IGF-1 receptor on visceral organs, cartilage, bone, and other organs, and it can produce multiple signaling pathways, and it also produces a negative inhibition of the pituitary as well as the somatostatin neuron. Right. So next is the mechanism of action of GHRH. Binds to GHRHR receptor, results in increased GH production through the cyclic AMP dependent pathway or the phospholipase pathway. So that is the IP pathway that we talked about earlier. So the cyclic AMP dependent pathway is initiated by GHRH binding to its receptor, causes activation of the G stimulatory alpha subunit closely associated with the G protein complex. So the stimulation of membrane-bound adenine cyclase increased production of cyclic AMP. So this is over here. GHRH binds to its receptor. G protein is activated, activates adenine cyclase. Adenine cyclase produces more cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP activates the protein kinase A, right? And the protein kinase A acts on the transcription factor called CREB. So CREB is cyclic AMP response element binding protein. CREB is cyclic AMP response element binding protein. So the CREB protein becomes phosphorylated by pKa, and the phosphorylated CREB together with its co-activators like P300 and CREB binding protein. So you have CBP also. The CREB binding protein enhances the transcription of GH, the growth hormone, binding to the cyclic AMP response elements in the promoter region of the GHG. So the P-CREB, phosphorylated CREB increases transcription of the GHRHR gene, providing positive feedback. Whereas in the phospholipase C pathway, the GHRH stimulates phospholipase C. I think it's not given over here. So it activates phospholipase C, and the phospholipase C produces diacylglycerol and inositol triphosphate. Inositol triphosphate releases calcium from the intracellular storage in endoplasmic reticulum, increases cytosolic calcium concentration, results in vesicle fusion and release of secretory vesicles containing pre-made GH. So as earlier I said about secretagogues, which contain the synthesized growth hormone, which is released as a result of the phospholipase pathway. So the activation of the GHRH receptor by the GHRH also conveys opening of the sodium channels by the IP3, which causes cell depolarization, and the resultant change in the intracellular voltage opens the voltage dependent calcium channel, resulting in vesicle fusion and the release of growth hormone. Okay, this is the part which we explained right now. So this is the GHRH, which binds the GHRH receptor, and the GHRH receptor is a G protein coupled receptor. The G alpha subunit activates adenine cyclase. Adenine cyclase produces cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP activates protein kinase A. Protein kinase A phosphorylates CREB, and the CREB binds to the GH promoter so that the growth hormone is synthesized. Right. The second process is regarding the G protein coupled receptor. Gamma beta subunit activates a phospholipase C, and the phospholipase C cleaves phosphatidyl inositol diphosphate into inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol. cannot see where the diacylglycerol is. So diacylglycerol is synthesized, and the inositol triphosphate activates the intracellular calcium release from the endoplasmic reticulum, and the calcium allows the growth hormone containing vesicles to fuse with the cell membrane and release it. So this is the sodium channel that has been activated. This is probably the diacylglycerol that is acting over here. And the sodium channel is activated. Sodium increases, sodium concentration also increases inside the cell. So this causes a depolarization, and the sodium and the calcium is allowed for exchange through these channels, and vesicle is allowed to bind to the cell surface, fuse with the cell membrane, and release its contents. So the regulation of GHRH, it's negatively regulated by feedback from blood growth hormone and IGF-1 concentrations. Free fatty acid inhibits while leptin and ghrelin stimulate CH release. Sex hormones and other factors also act centrally to stimulate GH release. So everything you can see over here. This is a free fatty acid produces a negative effect from free fatty acid from the adipose tissue, and this is leptin also from the adipose tissue. Ghrelin from the stomach produces a positive effect on the hypothalamus and the pituitary. Free fatty acid produces a negative effect both on the pituitary and the hypothalamus, and the IGF-1 and growth hormone again produces a negative feedback inhibition. So other factors which affect the hypothalamus is sleep, exercise, stress, amino acids, and sex hormones.